First 3 days was a huge success. You can find the day two recording in the day two recording in the same event page. I shared my screen. You can find the day two recording in this event page. I've pinged you the link in the chat. Please go through it. This is the link where you can find all recordings of the series. We have seen the day in day one how to build what is RPA, and in day two how to build your first bot, and in day three what is Excel automation. Here today in the day four we'll learn about the UI web automation using UiPath modern design. We have also a community day event which is held on November 30. Please go and register here. It is an in-person meetup. You can meet a lot of people there, and you can get insights from them. You can follow the Hyderabad community page for events like this. You'll get notified when you follow this. Please do register to the upcoming sessions as well. We have tomorrow database automation, RE framework, and like this we have till November 22nd. Saturday, Sunday will be holiday, so no sessions will be held on Saturday, Sunday. Let's wait for few more participants to join and start the session. In the meanwhile, please let us know how was the 3 day series in the chat. I hope you got insights on these 3 day series, and you got a like understanding on how a bot is built, what is a UI path, and how it is built, what are variables, arguments, and the deep insights on Excel automation. Along with the series, practice take a use case and practice parallelly so that you can understand better. I have given community day link as well. Please go and register there. In today's series, we'll deep dive into UiPath automation, web automation using a modern design. I'm having Gayathri along with me. We both are going to explain the deep about the activities we are using today. Okay, let's get started. I'll share my screen. So as I said, today is a day four. Here we today we are covering web automation using UiPath modern design. Thank you UiPath community and Miracle Software System for supporting this series throughout. Thank you, team, for encouraging and backboning us in developing this series. Coming to me, I am Bhavani Munaga. I am working as an art developer in Broadridge. I'm having total 5 years of experience in the IT. I'm also a certified RPA developer with over 4+ years of experience in UiPath. I have done various projects in finance domain. So I have received an ACE award and appreciation from the client as well. I'm also an active member in the UiPath community. Coming to today's agenda, we are covering UI automation with modern design, what are what are selectors, what is UI Explorer, verify execution for modern design experience, what are recorders, and what is this is the base for every project. So please be concentrate on these topics. So let us start the session. The modern design. Studio has two design experiences. One is a modern and the classic. Classic, as you all know, we have to enable the classic design. We need to go to home settings and disable the modern design, which will automatically take you to the modern design, classic design. So here, how you identify whether it is a modern design or a classic design? Looking at the design panel, you could see this is an app or web recorder, computer vision, and the table extraction. It will these are available in the modern design, but in the classic design, separate tabs will be there. And the activities, coming to the activities, we have many activities in the modern design compared to the classic design, and the selectors as well. It is very accurate, and we have more options to select a variable, to select an element in the interface. So the modern design experience is a far better than the classic, and it will give an accurate results as well. What is a UI automation? UI automation is the process of interacting with the interface elements, which will mimic the human actions. So generally, what we'll do, if you want to get data from the browser, you open the browser and you search for something, and you will get the data. But for what to do it, you have to give the instructions. You have to give the instructions. You have to indicate those, indicate the element activities or elements, and you have to instruct the bot to perform the same thing. So the process of interacting and mimicking the human actions is called an UI automation. It will interact with the interface of an application or a browser. So to coming to the selectors of, so we have known what is an UI automation. It will interact with the graphical user interface or an application or directly. To interact, we have specific activities for the specific activities in the studio, which will help you to interact, to indicate. So coming to the selectors, I have a small example. Take an example of the postman. He'll deliver many letters per day. He'll deliver letters correctly to the every home. How he'll know depending on the address. So he'll check the city, street, and the house number. Depending on that, he will go and deliver the letters. In the same way, here as well, we have to the studio, the automation bot will identify the element on the interface using the address. It is nothing but a selector. So let me take an example. I'm creating a new sequence. As I said, this is a modern design. You could see these are the activities available, and this is the design panel. To switch to enable the classic activities, go to filter. Here you can enable the classic activities. I am in the Studio 2024.10.6. Here the classic design is default disable, so we can add the classic filters here. Let me take a new sequence. to to create an UI automation to interact with any element, we have to have an package called UI automation.activities. If you don't see here, you can go and install in the manage packages. Install from here so that the activities are relevant will be installed. Okay. Let me open a sample browser as well. Let me open RPA challenge. For suppose this is the page you want to interact with and you want to perform automation, or to tell bot how to interact with, you have to go to the studio and you have to use the use application or the browser activity. In the classic design, we have attached browser or open browser and open application to interact with the separate browser and the applications. We have separate activities. Here we have a single activity which will be used to indicate on the element. You could see the selector is null. So we have dragged and dropped the activity, but we don't know, but we haven't instructed it for the bot to go and indicate on that, to click on that. So first we'll do it. Indicate application to automate. We'll indicate this application. Okay, let me install. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, I think it will go. Okay, I've indicated the application. 1 minute. Here I'll open the RPA challenge in this browser. Let me go and re-indicate it again. You could see the page is automatically detected by the activity, and the selector also came up. You could see this is, it is indicating that this is the page you are indicating it, RPA challenge title, and the application we are interacting with is a Chrome browser. Okay, and then coming to the, before going and developing more, let me explain you few properties here. Use browser activity have few properties. First one is continue on error. If by default it is set to false, if you enable it, if you want the bot to process further activities, even if you want bot to perform further activities, even an exception is thrown at this activity, to ignore the exception, you can always click on this continue on error. So if any error occurs at this activity, bot will ignore it and proceed further. By default it is set to the false. Okay, and the display name, here you can modify the name of the activity. Timeout, it is here you can mention the time, like how much time automation has to wait for an activity, for an element to appear. It will wait for particular seconds which you mentioned here, and it will throw exception after that. Here it will be mentioned in the seconds. In the classic design it will be in the milliseconds, here it is in the seconds. Coming to the arguments, when you want to open the application from the file, when you want to open any application, depending on the file, you can mention the argument here. For example, Adobe Acrobat Reader, you can mention the specific file here, so that the bot will automatically open the Adobe Reader. The file path, when you want to open the executable files, the file path will come up here. And the selector, as I mentioned, the selector is important for the bot to identify the element. URL, as we are interacting with the browser, the URL will come up here automatically. If you are interacting with the notepad or any application, the URL won't appear, the file path will appear. Let me show that as well. So, see here, it identified it as a notepad. You could see the URL is disabled, and the selector is Windows Notepad, and the file path came up here. If you want to give the URL, it won't accept. Anyone should be mentioned. Coming to the properties, input element and the output element. When you want the particular instance to be used, and you don't want to reopen or re-indicate any element, you can use an as input element. Output element, here we are indicating the notepad, so here I'll mention the UI element variable, so that it can be used in the further activities. You instead of opening or re-indicating the again, you can directly use the UI element variable there, and use in the activities. Here we have a private. If you enable this, the logs of this activity and variables and the arguments won't appear in the orchestrator. By default, it is set to the false. Here we have an options called close, open. What is open? When we indicate this by default, if not open will be selected. First one is never. If never open the application, that is never. If not open, open the application. Always open the application when interacting. Close. Never close the application. If opened by the automation, close the application. Always close the application once it is done. By default, if opened by the application or the browser will be enabled. And the input mode. In the day 2 session, you might have seen there are several input modes available. Hardware event, simulate, Chromium API, Windows message, and the background. These are the input methods we have for this activity. Hardware events, when you are dealing with the hardware drivers, you can enable the hardware events. Simulate, if you select this, the automation will happen in the background. Chromium API, when the automation is dealing with the Chromium elements or the Chrome, you can enable this. It also supports the background process. Windows message, it is nothing but the send Windows message, which is available in the classic. Here it is a Windows message. Few applications won't support simulate background process, so in that case we can use a Windows message. Here the hotkeys also will be supported in the Windows message. Background, if it is selected, the automation process will happen in the background. It might select anyone from the simulate and the Chromium API depending on the fastness. The best option is to select the simulate, as it won't interrupt us in the middle. And the next is the Windows message. And coming to the next properties, resize window. Once we open the application, we can select the maximize. While opening the application, we can maximize it. We can restore to the design time. Via when developing the bot, you might have indicated when developing the bot, you might have indicated some element there. It will try to capture the size and it will resize depending on the selection screen. Restore to the design time. Minimize. It will minimize the browser. And incognito or private mode. The browser will be opened in the incognito mode. This properties user data folder mode, user data folder path, WebDriver mode. If you want the automation to open the browser with any particular file path, you can mention here. If you want the WebDrivers to be used in the automation, you can use WebDriver mode. These are the properties available for the use browser. Coming to the let us go and indicate on the any element in this page. So generally, to interact with any application or the browser, we use click and type into activity. We'll search for the click. Here we have, we'll drag and drop the click. If you use this activity outside the use application, it will throw an error. So always use within the activity. It is like a container. Indicate. Here I want to indicate on this field. I'll select it. Here it is automatically asking us to select the anchor. So before going forward, I would like to explain what is anchor and what is target. Target is nothing but the field which you want to select, which is in the green color. Anchor is it searches for the other UI element near to it. So the combination of the anchor and the target is called as a descriptor. Here in the modern design experience, the normally target and the anchor will be selected at a time. So if we select anchor, we have a selectors for both target and the anchor. This is a selection option. When you are indicating on a browser, this pop-up will come up. This has a few elements which I'll explain now. First one is a pause. When you want the automation to pause for a few seconds, we can enable it. We can select it. By default, 5 seconds. If you press F2 before selecting it, it will be paused for 5 seconds. You can modify the time here. And it is second one is F6, hoverable elements. There might be scenarios where the drop down of a particular element will appear only if we hover on that. So at that time, you can use the hover option. You can enable, you can click on this and you select the drop down menu. This is an image selection. When normal selectors won't work, you can go with the image selection. It is like you have to drag and drop an area and then select it so that bot will go and click on it. It is always not reliable because if any background color or any resolution changes, it will throw an exception. Next is the native text. It is like a T, right? It will identify all the text fields in the application or the browser, and it will select the element depending on the text, native text. And next is the computer vision. When you are dealing with the remote desktops or the images, you have to you can enable this computer vision, which will allow you to indicate as a normal selector. So here you could see we have a target and an anchor. Let us see the selectors which came up here. In the target, you could see the strict selector, fuzzy selector, and the image. In the anchor also, you could see strict selector, fuzzy selector, and the computer vision image. So here the bot will identify the element in the three methods. Three targeting methods are available: strict selector, fuzzy selector, and the image selection. So for target and anchor, both combination, like target may be strict, anchor may be fuzzy. Target may be fuzzy, anchor may be strict. So it will combine these methods, like there is nine possible methods will be there, and during runtime it will check all these nine probabilities, and it will select the best thing, best selector, best reliable selector. So in the target, let us go and open the target. First one is a strict selector. Strict selector means when you are indicating on the field, the selector will appear. If you want that to be exactly same, it won't change in the further as well. If it is an exactly same only, the strict selector will work. Even there is a small mismatch, it won't work. The fuzzy selector. Fuzzy selector is even there is a small change in the name or 80% close to the matches also, fuzzy selector will work. This is the difference between the strict and the fuzzy selector. Computer vision or image, it will work depending on the image. Here you could see that this is a concentric circle available. The bot automatically given it. This indicates this was the first to correctly identify the target. A fuzzy selector here. So it is giving as a fuzzy selector as an option for us. Here you could see an UI Explorer. This is IO icon is a show all matches. When you click, you could see these all matches it found. Okay. Anchor also the same thing. And here you could see there is an icon called Windows Explorer. I'll explain you this as well. So this is a UI Explorer. When the selectors are not much reliable and you want to customize it more by including several attributes. As said, selectors are a combination of attributes and the tags. Here you could see HTML app Chrome exe. This HTML is an attribute. So in the tags, you could say you could know the application type it is interacting with, and the attributes you can identify like what it is doing. The first one is always a root node, and the success last line is always an actual identifier. This is an XML fragment. It is stored in the XML fragment. Here you could see, and this is an UI Explorer. Here there are several options available for us. First is a validate. When this is used when you want to validate the selector. If here it is a green color, so this is a valid selector. If it comes in the orange color, like suppose if I remove something in the input, it is in the orange color, so the selector has been modified, so please revalidate again. It is like this. If it is in a red color, the selector is invalid. The selector is an invalid. And if it is in a gray color, it is validating. Indicate element, it is used to re-indicate the element. Let me open the notepad and show you. Let me select this. So here I am dealing with the notepad, so here it changed to WND. What is the title of the notepad? Untitled notepad. Here the indicate element is used to indicate on the target. Indicate anchor, as I said, the anchor is nothing but the selection of a particular UI element depending on the other UI element. As the UI element is constant and the text field, the target, if the target field changes frequently, we'll select the constant element and then we'll make it as an anchor. And here you could see the repair. Repair option is used when the selector changes, when the selector is invalid. You can always go and click on the repair. It won't re-indicate on it. It will ask you to re-indicate on the element so that it will modify the selector which is available. It will not totally replace the selector. It will modify the selector. Highlight. Highlight is used to check whether the selector is correctly identified or not. If you click on the highlighter, like there might be uh, for suppose if you have an element which is indicated on the bottom of the page, if you want that element to be indicated, and if you want that element to be come on the foreground, you can click on the highlight. You can it will directly go and indicate on that element. And here you have an options called options. In this we have a frameworks, default, active accessibility, UI automation. Here we have three different UI frameworks. For default is automatically set. Active accessibility, when you are dealing with when you don't get reliable selectors with the default method, you can always go and modify the frameworks. First one is active accessibility. uh, if you are dealing with the legacy softwares, you can go with the active accessibility. If you are dealing with the newer applications, you can always go and select the UI automation. Remember, if the default selectors are now not reliable, go with changing the this frameworks. And along with this, here we have few properties. Here we have a property explorer. In this, you can get every thing about that particular element which is indicated. Suppose you are going and indicating an element on the web browser, and you want to get that particular information of that element, suppose a URL or ANM. So you can use a get attribute by using you can go to the you can open UI Explorer, indicate element, and here you could check what are the properties available for that particular target element. From this you can take the ANM. If you're dealing with the browsers or anything, you can have URLs, and you can have a href also, which can be opened through link. Here you can identify the properties of that particular target element, and you can use get attribute to a particular item. And the visual tree, there might be scenarios where you are unable to indicate on the drop downs, or you are unable to identify the inner elements of the container. You can always indicate, and here you could see the visual tree. You can always go and select the particular here we have thing, right? You can select, you can right click, you can set as a target element. In the visual tree you can find all the drop downs, inner elements, and which are available on the target element. You can directly come here and set as a target element instead of re-indicating it. Here we have selected items properties. As this is a notepad, let me go and indicate on the browser. So here you could see there are many options available here. You could see there might be scenarios where you have IDX, which always frequently changes. IDX, if there is an IDX in the selector, it is not reliable, because if any application changes or anything changes, the IDX will modify, so that the selector won't be available. It will throw error. So to remove that, you can always select the other options available and make it as a reliable. You can fine tune the selectors depending on the necessity. This is all about the UI framework which we are using. As I said, the combination of the target and anchors is called as a descriptors. We have a three methods available: selectors, strict selector, fuzzy selector, and the computer vision image selector. Okay. Next, I'll tell the wildcards with an example. Let's take the UI Explorer and indicate on the notepad. Here I am indicating in the notepad, which is saved as untitled notepad. Okay. Or suppose the other developer comes and change the file name to test notepad 3. Okay. Revalidate it. It's not coming because the name of the file got changed. That's why it is unable to identify it. So there might be scenarios where the name changes or a small naming convention changes, also the selector will throw error. In that scenario, you can replace the selector with the wildcards. In the wildcards, we have two type of wildcards. One is star and one is the question mark. Star is used to replace zero or more characters, and question mark is used to replace a single character. If you want the selector to identify the notepad and write it, you can always remove this and press a star. Let's see now. Yes, it is able to identify it. In this way, the selector is useful. If you place the question mark, it will replace the single character. As you could see, it is a single character, it is unable to identify. So, pick a star and validate. These wildcards are useful when you are dealing with the applications which might change future with a small naming convention, so that there might be spaces when you are indicating on an element in the browser, there might be spaces in between. So to remove that spaces and match exactly, you can always use a asterisk and make it as a reliable selector. As I said, we are using use application or the browser to interact with the any interface application or the browser. We have seen the UI Explorer as well, and here there is a demo. Let me show you this. Suppose you this is an RPA challenge page. This is the best example to describe about the selectors and the UI automation. Here we have a many fields: phone number, company name, address, role in the company, last name, email, and the first name. Right. Here we have download Excel. You go and download the Excel here. In that Excel, you will have all the. Let me show that as well. So this is the Excel downloaded from the website. You could see the first name, last name, company. All these fields are available. Bot has to read the Excel. Go and fill the first name, last name. Like that, it has to fill and click on the submit. Once you click on the submit, the fields are getting changed. See, and submit. The fields are getting changed. But one thing is common here. The label first name is common, first name is constant, and the field getting changed like the position, but the label is constant. In this case, you can make a target as this and the anchor as the label first name. In this way, you can indicate the element and try it out. As time doesn't permit, I have already developed it. Sorry, let me close the Explorer. So, as discussed in the yesterday series, you might have known, you might have seen how to use the Excel and how to read the Excel. Here, I am using use Excel and reading the Excel and getting the data in the data table, DT Excel data, and I am using a for each. Before that, I am indicating the screen in the use browser. As a best practice, you have to always give the URL in the variables, or you can place it in the config sheet and use the variable. And please name the activities names as well, which might be helpful for you to identify the errors in the logs. So before starting it, we have an option called start. If you click on the start, it will mention the it will show the time, how much it took for the bot to process it. So I am indicating it on the start. I'm indicating it on the start. So if any empty rows, I am removing it using a small inquiry. I'm using a for each, and I'm assigning all the values to the variables: address, company name, email, and first name, last name, like that. So I took type into activity. Let me show. I took type into activity, indicated this, and indicated anchor as a first name. If you click on the submit, as the page changes, the label is constant. So for the field, I took constant anchor first name, and then I saved it. Confirm. No need to modify anything as it is giving the best selector. Like that, I am indicating every field, and lastly clicking on the submit. I am here. How many fields are there? Seven. We have a seven fields. For seven fields, I'm taking type into. I'm looping through every row and filling it and clicking on the submit. In the next scenario, which is Gayatri going to explain, you could achieve this in less time using one type into activity. That will be explained by the Gayatri. Let me go and run this now. Read Excel file. You could see as I selected simulate type for every activity, it is running in the background. I opened this Chrome browser so that you can see. If you minimize it also, it will run. That is the use of simulate. You can also try parallelly, so that you can understand better. In the classic activity, in the classic design, we used to take an anchor activity, and we used to place a find element, and beside that we used to place the type into. Here, the anchor and the target is indicated at once. So without help of anchor activity, you can directly achieve this. How much time it took? It took 55,359 milliseconds to complete it. This is how powerful the selectors are. This is very helpful for you to make a most reliable selector, and to fine tune it using wildcards. We have using the fuzzy selectors, using the strict selectors, using the computer vision. We have many options here to deal with, which makes work easier. And now Gayatri will explain about the recorders and the RPI challenge, and how verify execution works in the UI automation. Gayatri, over to you. If any question, please post in the chat. Recordings will be shared on the same event page. Once it is available, we are texting in the chat.
Thank you,
Data
Bhavani.
recording
Thank
will
you
be
so
on the
much.
same.
That was a
Yes, Gayatri.
nice session. So let me know if my screen is visible. Hello. Is it visible?
Yes, Gayatri, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you, Bhavani. That was a nice session. Uh, guys, you have learned about what is AI automation, how it is being used in modern design experience. You have learned about the use application slash browser activity, the input methods available, and everything. So, Bhavani has showcased you the use case, like how you can automate the RPA challenge by using multiple type into activity. I would like to say this is a improvised version of the RPA challenge, you no need to use multiple type into activities to validate the first name, last name, the company details that you want to enter. That can be done even using a single type into activity. So now I'll just going to explain you the code, like how I designed. This will going to reduce the time of the execution, and the speed of the execution will be very faster than when compared to what we have seen when we have used multiple type into activities. So this is the Excel file. We are reading the Excel uh, input file from this. Okay, I'm storing that in a data table. Then I'm using use application slash browser activity. So we need to first click on start. So I'm removing if I have any empty data that is available in the data table. So now I'm looping through this data table. What is the logic we are using is that, let me open you the Acme website. Sorry, RPA challenge. So here you can see these are the fields that you want to enter in, right? So as you can see the input file that we have. So here you could see the column names and the field values here, which is present, are similar, right? See here you can see the column names, the first name, last name, company name, role and company address, email, and the phone number we have. As you go to the RPA challenge, here the field names are similar. So what I'm doing is that I'm looping through the data table. Okay, that is I'm getting the column names. For this column names, I'm passing it as an you have seen like how you are indicating that element with the anchor and the target. Here that anchor would be the first name, and the target will be this type into field. So I'm making the anchor as dynamic, so I'm passing the column values. I'm taking the current item, that is first it will be a John. It will going to fetch the John, and the column name would be a first name, so it will type into this first name field. Then the second item will be a Smith. The column name would be last name, so it will going to type in the last name field. So that is how we have made this type into as a dynamic to work for all the type into fields that are available in this RPA challenge. Then finally we'll click on submit. Now let's run and see like how fast it is executing and the decision that it is taking. So it has opened the input file. It is reading the input file and fetching all the data that we have. So reading of the input file is completed. Now it has opened the RPA challenge and it has started to enter the fields. See the speed that is typing in, as you can see. Sorry guys, I have opened the wrong automation. So as you can see, it started entering the values into this. So let me stop this one. So this is how you can make the RPA challenge even more, make it the execution faster by using the a single type into activity. So now I'll be moving into the next concept. Sorry, I have forgot to introduce myself. So my name is Gayathri. I'm a UiPath Automation Developer Associate Certified. I work at Capgemini. I have 3 years of relevant experience in UiPath. I have worked in finance, non-finance, and the healthcare domains. So coming to the agenda, the topics that I'll be walking through is. So first is verify execution feature that we have in the modern design experience, the recording in the studio, the app slash web recorder, the recordable actions, and the table extractions. So what do you meant by the verify execution feature in the modern design experience? As you all see, like how you can automate the UI, automate your application using the modern design experience. As a developer, it is not only essential for you people to develop a workflow, it is also very essential to make sure the execution has been happening properly as expected or not. So the verification, the execution of the process will always plays a major role. So now let's see, we have some of the properties in the modern design experience that would help you to check the execution functionality of some of the activities. So the verify execution feature in UiPath is used to validate the correctness of the actions performed by the activities at the runtime. So the verify execution feature is a property available for click, type into, and hover activities. So by leveraging the verify execution feature, you can enhance the accuracy and the reliability of the process. So for in the modern design experience, we have have this verify execution feature only to the limited activities, that is we have for click, we have for type into, and we have for over activities. Now let's see how this verify execution feature will gonna help us, the developers, in automating their tasks. Okay, so for this I am taking Acme website to for showcasing this demo. Let me open the Acme website. So, let's see. I want to, create a login XAML, login workflow. So, what we will basically do is that we'll type into the email field, the email address, we'll type into the password, and we'll click on login. So, how we are making sure that whether the login of this application is done or not. So you might be using element exist if you are using a classic activity, and you will check whether the dashboard has been present or not. So if the dashboard is present, so you will make sure the login has been successful. If not, you will if it is a false, then you will add a log message that login is not successful. So if you are using a modern design experience, you might have used check app state. So you will check whether the dashboard appears or not. If it is appears, then you will add a log message that login is successful. If not, you will gonna throw exceptions, right? So now let's see, by using the verify execution feature that we have in the modern design experience, you can eliminate the use of, the use of this element exists or the check app state property. Like, see, I'll just show you like how you can, eliminate the use of the element exists or the check app state activities. So I have created a login sequence. Okay, so I am getting the credentials from the asset, the username and the password. So this is use application slash browser, I'm using it. And then type into activity to type the username, and then type into activity to type the password, and then click on login. So my task is to validate whether the login is successful or not. So as and when I click on the login, if I'm getting the dashboard page, then I am making sure that okay, I am able to successfully able to log into that applications. So here, instead of using the check app state or the element exists property, here you can see a three dots. So here you have something called add verification property, so you can enable this option. So as you can see, I have enabled. It is asking me, let's see what are the verification properties we have. So it is a display name. Okay, you have a retry mechanism. Basically, if we are try to type into click on some of the button, if it is not working, you may add it in a retry scope where you want to give a condition. The element exists, until the element exists you have to retry it for a 3 times. Now there is no necessity for you to add a retry scope or even use a extra checkup state that you people are using it. So we have this two feature enabled in this verify execution feature, so you can make use of those. So here the retry property, so you can enable it. So as you all know the retry mechanism, so it will going to retry for 3 times. So instead of using the element exist or the checkup state to make sure your login is successful or not, you can use this indicate verification target on the screen that is available over here, and you can click on this dashboard. Okay, let's validate this and click on confirm. So now it would eliminate the use of the extra activity that you are using, and even your it is including the exception handling, that is retry mechanism as well. So this is about the click activity and the verify execution features that we have in that. Okay, I hope you people will now going to use this new feature that is available to make sure that you were able to click on that particular button or not. Okay, so now let's see the type into in the type into activity, what are the execution properties we have. So to enable that, you have to click on three dots and you have to enable this auto verification property. So what is the main things that you face is that when you are using a type into activity, you want to make sure that whether the value that you are providing in this type into field has been typed properly or not. Right. So if the value has been typed properly, then you will get a correct result. If the value that you are giving is not typed properly, you may result in a false result. So here in the new verification execution feature, we have some that flexibility to check whether this type into activity as type the value that you are expecting properly or not. Let's see how you can do that. So here you comes to the verify execution property, the display name you can give it, the expected text is there, right? Here you can give the text that you are expecting that to be typed in this particular typing to activity. First what it will do is that it will check whether the typed value matches with the value that you have provided in this expected text. If both are same, then it will be a success case. If not, then and there only it will going to provide you a error message stating that the expected text and the value typed was not correct. I'll just show you the demo like how you can get that things. And one more property we have is that before you type into, I mean you click on type into or you indicate, sometimes you might be having scenario where you have to first check whether the type in field is present or not, right? So you have a flexibility to check that here. So you can click on this three dot, you can click on this indicate the current app, and you can check this indicate this field that you are looking into it. So what it will do is that it will check first whether the type into text box is available or not. Okay, if available, then it will going to type the values. So in this type into, you can check whether the type into field available or not, and you can also verify whether it has been typed properly or not. Okay, so now I will show you a demo like how it will going to verify it, and if the type text is incorrect, how we will going to give us the results. So see, I have given the username. My correct username is gayatrimk56 at gmail.com. Here I am putting gayatrimk6 at gmail.com. I'll be running this and let's see what is the result that it will going to give it. So it is not correct. So it should give me a error. Let's see. So here it has typed the value. So actually, if you enable this verify execution property inbuilt, you have the retry mechanism. Okay, so it will going to retry for 3 times and check for the condition that you have provided it. So it has typed second time and it has typed. This is the third time it is typing and it is validating it whether the the text that has been typed is matching with the text that we have given. See here, as you can see, it has thrown me an error and it given me uh, the expected text was this, but the actual result, I mean, the value that is typing is was gayathrimk56 at gmail.com. So now, you can verify it whether your typing activity is typing the value that you are expecting or not. So now let's see, I'm going to give a correct email address and we'll see whether I'm able to log in, successfully log into this Acme website or not. So it has typed the email address, it has typed the password, and it clicked on login. Now it will find for the dashboard. So if the dashboard is present, then we are making sure that login is successful. So it was able to identify the login and the execution was successful. So just use this new feature and let us know like how you will how you felt about this new feature that we have, to check the click has been happened, the type into has been happened. So it will eliminate the most of the checkup state that you will be using the extra checks that you are doing it. And the retry mechanism, even you have it, so you can make use of that. So now let's move to the next concept that we have for the is the recording in the studio. So the recording functionality of the studio helps in capturing the user actions on the screen and translating them into a sequence. So the recording tool can be accessed from the design tab in the studio. So while recording, all the user interface elements are highlighted, allowing a easy identification of buttons, fields, menus, or the elements with which the user interacts. Once the recording ends, a sequence is created containing the activities performed by the user. So recording is nothing but, let's consider you have some sequence of tasks that you have to perform. The whatever the action that has been performed by the user, you can make use of this recording and you can capture those. Actions that has been performed by the user. So all these actions will be encapsulated with the use application slash browser activity, and what are the actions that has been performed by the user will be in the sequence of activities. Okay, so this is the app slash web recorder that we have in modern design experience. In the classic, we might have seen that we have a different recorders, that is basic desktop web recorder, to do the recording of the app or web. So you have a single app slash web recorder, so here you can record the applications, or if you want to record the browser, you can do that. Okay, so now let's see what are the actions that can be recorded. So these are the typing tool. Okay, the typing the text into a input window and the boxes. The mouse click you can record, and selecting items from the drop down list, the selecting check boxes, and the keyboard shortcuts. So now let's consider, I'll show you a demo with a simple use case. I'll be using a double UI application that you might be have familiar if you are, going through the academic courses and all. So my suppose let's consider we have the activities that includes only click, type into, selection of the drop, and checking of, check boxes it includes. So you no need to create a workflow like drag and dropping, use application slash browser activity, and then using type into activity and then indicating it. This is all not required. You can make use of this recorder to create your flow. So now I'll be explaining like how you can do this automation by using do the recording. So here I want to do a deposit. Okay, I have to type the value in the cash in field on a check field. and not on a check field, and I have to extract the account number that I have here, and I have to click on accept. This is my use case. Okay, let's see now a new sequence. I'll be taking it recording. So I'm using the recorder that is available over here. Okay, first I have to click on this deposit. I'm just clicking on this deposit. That's it. See, my UiPath is capable enough to, identify the application, that is I'm using the double UI application, and what is the action that I have performed. I have just performed the click activity, right? So it was able to identify and it was able to capture this. Now let's see, I'm just clicking on this type into field. So see, it has identified it as a type into field, and it is providing, asking me to enter the value. I'll provide the value and it on confirm. Again, I'll be, clicking on this type into activity. It is identified as a type into and asking me the value to enter it. And here also I'll click. So here also it is identified as a type into activity, and it is, asking me the value to provide it. Now let's see, this is a, account number. So I need to fetch this account number. So you can see something called plus, right? So either you can just click on this, or if you want to choose a particular action, you can just hover on this plus, and here it is a get text, right? So you can select the actions from here as well. Okay, so it is asking me to text. I'll provide it later. And then once it is done, I have to click on this accept. So now I am, clicking on this same. Let's see now. See, what are the actions that has been performed by the user. It has been captured as it is, right? So here you can see the use application slash browser. It has identified, it is a WI application. And first we have clicked on the deposit, and we have typed into the cash in field, honest check field, and then we have typed into the not honest check field. So, and this is the get text field. So this is the account number. So I have to store it in a variable. Let me use a message box, to verify it whether it was able to, get the text that we have in it or not. So now let's run and check whether whatever the actions that has been captured is performing as expected or not. So it has opened the application and clicked on deposit. So it is typing it into a cash in field, and it has typed into the honest check field, and it has typed the value in the not honest check field. It has extracted the account number. See here, it has extracted the account number, that is 92859961. And then the last we have done is click on accept. Okay, so this is all about the recordings. So let me go to the properties we have in the recording. So first property is that you can, pause and play with this. You have seen like, now let's see, I'll just, use a notepad. I have shown you a demo, like how if the user is, doing some recording in this WI application, it was able to capture it, right? Now let's see. I'm sorry. Okay. Now let's see. So here, what I'll do is that in the UI application, I'll click on this deposit. Okay, I'll click on confirm. I'm sorry, it is okay. It has taken as a get text. Okay, that is done. So now what I'm doing is that now I am performing a action in the notepad. See here, when I am trying to, don't see, let me use a new app slash web recorder. So I will click on this deposit. Okay, and then I will click on this type into field that we have in the notepad. Let us confirm this. Okay, type into, I'm typing into hi. Confirm. See, even though I'm working on two different applications, so this is a different application and this is a different application, right? So see, I'll hit on save now. Let's see here, whatever the user action that has been performed in the WI, it was able to capture and it has encapsulated in a use application slash browser activity, so that it was able to identify it as a UI, right? So the WI. And then see here, it has identified it as a notepad, and what I have done is that I have just typed into this field and I have typed hi. So so the recording feature, if you are working on a different application also, the UiPath is enough capable to identify what is the application and what is the action that has been performed by the user in the two different application as well. Uh, so so you can have, in a sequence you can have multiple, you can use multiple use application slash browser, and even you can automate different applications as well. So this is about the recording we have. Okay, so let me go to the final topic of the today's session, that is the table extraction. A table, as the name suggests, it is a combination of rows and columns. So the table extraction will enable you to automatically extract the structured data or the tabular data from the application, and it will save it as a table object that can be further used in the automation process. So now let's see how you extract the tabular data. If you have any tabular data, then how you can extract it by using this table extraction. To show this demo, I'll be using the going to Acme website. I'll be extracting the tabular data value that I have over here. Okay, first you have to select this table extraction. First you have to indicate the column. So I'm just indicating the first column. So here it is asking, would you like to extract all the columns from the table? So if you are indicating only one column, so it has a feature to identify the columns, whatever the columns that you have in this in this table. So I don't need this action for now, I am deleting it. So since you can see here, I have 14 pages here. So I need to extract data from all of these pages. So how you can extract this? Like you have to enable this option, that is extract data from the multiple pages, and you have to indicate on this target and hit on confirm. Now save and close. Okay, so the data has been extracted. Now let's store this the data we have extracted in a right range. So now let me run this workflow and see whether it was able to extract the data we have here on it. Let me rerun it. It's running, taking time. Okay, it started extracting the data. It had extracted first page data. It is went to now extracted the second page. So it is taking time. So now, okay, first I'll explain you. Let me stop this. Okay, so C has, you can even edit the extracted data. Let's consider I want to extract only some 500 rows of data, and I'm not interested in extracting all the 14 pages that are available over here. I'm just interested, to extract only until 5 page of data. So now let's see how you can modify or change the make modify this extracted data. So first we'll see how we can modify the columns. So here you can see this is a WID. You have option called settings. You have to click on this. So default will be a text. If you want to convert it into a any other data format like number or the date and time, you can convert the data into that. So now since it is a number, I'll be taking it as a number, save and close. And then I'll go to the description is text. Since it is a text, I'm leaving as it is. And this is a type into field, it is a text, so I'm leaving as it is. The status is also a text, so I'm leaving as it is. And you have one more option here is like you can sort the data. If you want in the ascending order, you can choose this option, or if you wanted to have the data in the descending order, you can choose this option. So here you have a date and time. So here it is taken as a text. So now if you want to have this data passing in the date and time, you can choose a date and time, and you can choose the uh, a format that you are interested in. Okay, so this is about how you can pass the data that we have in the column values. And let's consider the default will be a no limit. I want to limit the data extraction to specific number of rows. So the default is 100. So sorry, 1,000. If you want to, if you would like to have some 20 rows of data, so you can set it to 20, and you can limit the maximum page of data from which it has to extract the data. uh, so the option we have is maximum is 100. So if you want it in a specific page, you can have it. So now I'm mentioning the maximum pages that I'm interested in to extract the data is 3. So here how you can modify the extracted data and uh, extracted data from the by using the table extraction method. Now let's see whether it is able to extract or not. I'll close this website and I'll reopen it because the website is taking time to load those tabular data. Work items. Now let's run this. Okay, it is able to extract the data. Now let's see the output. So see, it was able to extract the data, and it has given me the uh, the tabular data which I have extracted in the Excel file. So here the header you are not able to see because I have missed to enable this hide header option. So if you enable this along with the column values, you will be able to get the data. So this is all about the session. So thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. So now we have a quiz session. I'm handing over to Bhavani. Over to you, Bhavani.
Yes, hope everyone got insights on the what is UI automation and how table extraction recorders work. Here we have, let me share my screen. We have a quiz available. Mm, let me share the Menti. 1 minute. Gayatri, can you share the Menti code?
Yes, sure. Team, I have shared the Mentimeter link. So you can click on that link. I'll be sharing you the code. So once you have entered, I mean, clicked on this Mentimeter, www.menti.com, you will be navigating to a page where it will ask to provide you the code. Just provide the code that I have provided. The code is 21663619.
We have 31 players.
Guys, please hurry up. We see 60 participants. You all can try this quiz.
We have 35 players. If anyone having issue, please ping in the chat. Please join the Menti using this code. Winners will have goodies as well. We'll pick top two. And the winners, please provide your mail ID. Quiz is not started yet. You join and I'll start it. Please use this code 21663619. Okay, let's start the quiz then. We have 39 players, 40.
You guys will give another 2 minutes. Please join in.
Another 2 minutes will be.
40 minutes. 40 we can see now.
Recordings will be available after 2 days in the same event page. Day 1 and day 2 recordings are available already. Please go through the recordings and practice parallelly. If any
Bhavani,
doubts,
you can
you can
start.
post your queries on the forum page as well. Sorry, Gayatri.
You can start with the quiz.
Yeah, let's start the quiz. Guess the movie name. It's just a normal question for you. Here you could see entire picture. From which picture this belong to? Devara, Levara, Padkora, Devara. Yeah, 12 got correct. Let's check.
So that was quick question
That
we
was
had.
a funny question
Honey
for you
question
people.
we had. Yeah. So guys, you should be able to, and if fast enough. I mean, you have to answer it, choose the right answer, and with the faster finger, we're going to uh, able to get this goodies. So be fast enough to answer the question, and you have to choose the correct answer as well.
Okay, let's start. Which of the following is the wildcard used to replace single character in the selectors? We have four options available. Everyone has voted. Nice, nice. Uh, Sorry, the question might be wrong. Here, the correct answer is a question mark. Sorry for this. And question three. Which of the following is the default second for an activity in a modern design? We have 50, 30, 60, and 10. The default seconds available for an activity in the modern design. One. Yes, 30 seconds is the correct answer. Let's see leaderboard. Okay, next. Which of the following is the selector help to improve selector accuracy by taking into account nearby elements? Static selector, anchor selector, full selector, wildcard selector. By taking nearby elements, we can increase the accuracy by using the below selector. Yes, anchor is the correct, wildcard is the correct answer. What is the maximum number of pages table extraction wizard can handle? 10, 100, unlimited, depends on application or website pages. website page limits. Yes, it depends on the application or website page limits. Let's see. And sixth question. Which activity is used to extract data from the table on web page? Get text, click, send hotkey, table extraction wizard. To extract data in the tabular format, which of the following is used? Yes, table extraction wizard. It's correct. 37 has voted. Yes. Question 7. Which UiPath activity relies on selectors to interact with the UI elements? As I said, which activity is used to interact with the user interface elements? Right line, delay, click, assign. Yes, click is the correct answer. Let's see the last question. Mayuri is on the top. Let's see the final question. Which attribute in selector typically represents the unique identifier of the UI element? As I said, in the selectors, we have nodes, tags, and attributes. We have a unique identifier as well, which will come in the last line. We have a class, control name, title, ANM. Yes, ANM is the correct answer. Let's check. We have Mayur, and who is Simba?
Simba, can you please type your full name?
Name. Winners are Mayur and Simba. Simba, what is your full name? Kalyani Deshpande.
Okay, congratulations, Kalyani and
Congratulations, Mayur and Kalyani.
so, guys, please share your complete address to the email ID that I have provided to the nikhil.rpa@gmail.com. So, the goodies will be sent to your home address. So, please provide the complete address of your home.
Winners, please provide the complete address to the mentioned mail ID to receive the goodies. Hope you got clarity on the how UI automation works, selector stable extraction. Please post on the LinkedIn about this session and tag everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the session.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you. So, we would like to hear your feedback about the session. So, please do write a feedback on the LinkedIn by tagging me, Bhavani, and the organizer. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.